Good morning, everybody. How we all doing? Let me put my headphones on here. There we go. That's better. I can hear myself. Big D, Dennis. Wow, you are right at it this morning. How you doing, buddy? Hope things are well. I'm off to quite a start this morning. I'll tell you the story here in a minute. There we go. That's better. I got a scratchy throat this morning, so bear with me if I start to lose my voice. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, I woke up this morning, my normal time around 5:30. Went out, had my cup of tea, going through my phone, checking YouTube and everything. And then about 7:15 the power went out. And I'm like, "Oh god, here we go." And it's not a scheduled power outage either, guys. It's just it happens in the Philippines. Usually if there's a scheduled power outage, we get notified. And so I'm like, went into my wife. I said, we supposed to have a power outage this morning. She said, no, it's not scheduled. I says, great. I got my live stream at 9. I said, so this is not good timing on my end. So, but right now, as of right now, I don't know if the power's back or not. I started the generator. So if something happens and I'm all of a sudden gone, you're going to know why. Okay. This happens. It's unfortunately it's common here in the Philippines. Power outages happen quite frequently, and not all the time do they let you know. So if anybody else is online here, well, if you're online, you got power, obviously. So I was going to tell you to let me know, but if you're online and you got a generator and that's why you're online, let me know. Or I don't know if the whole area is out of power or just us, our area. Who knows? Usually it's the whole area. But anyway, that's the start of my day. Could be worse. Trust me, it could be worse. So what's going on? Who's in here? I know Dennis, you're in here. I think Sean's in here. You have to message early. And so say hi, let me know. If you're a new subscriber, let me know. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Finally had a good week as far as subscribers go. Been waiting on this for a while. They put me, I think I'm at 1,726, 7, something like that. So now it's the push for 2,000. If I can get another video or two that takes off like that last one did, I'll be all set. And that's what it takes, People, they will react if you have a good video. But it's not always easy either. It's tough. Dennis, okay, let's see. Dennis says, it's been a great week, Joe. You have 2K in no time. I hope you're right, my friend. I do. I'm working hard for it. Yeah, all I need is a couple more videos like the last one I was just saying. And then we'll get there. So that's the plan. That's the goal. And Dennis, thank you for your support again. I mean, you're always out here helping me out, and it really does mean a lot to me. You guys are you're all awesome. But it's amazing the support. I never thought I would get this kind of support, and here it is. It's really cool, actually. So what else is going on out there? Anybody? Let me. Dennis says, hey, I like the backgrounding. The question showing at the bottom. Nice up. Yeah, I'm getting there, buddy. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to technology, but I am learning. This is my wife and I worked on the green screen. That's what the background is. So we got that taken care of. So it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. And then I figured out how to highlight your comments. All I do is click on your comment and it'll come on the screen. So whoever makes a comment, I can bring it up on my screen, which is, I didn't know that either. Well, I knew it. I didn't know how to do it. And my wife showed me. She's really good with computers. She's good with all this stuff. So it's starting to rub off on me. I mean, you got to understand when I was in school, the calculator came out, okay? There was no computers. So I've never really embraced them either. It's partly my fault. So, Dennis, how has your week been going? Hopefully, well. It's been good here. I got some good news. And there's Mark. Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy? Just talking about my subscribers and my members. And as usual, you popped on. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a good week. I mean, I've been doing all right. I have no complaints. That's my good news video was more than welcome. Trust me. And Mark says, all good here. That's awesome. Good to hear. You're in countdown now. You're getting close. You're what, about a month away from coming over here now. That's exciting. Mark, I got a question for you. I was going to talk about this a little later, but I'll bring it up now. Do you already have your airline tickets? Because the price of them are through the roof right now. I mean, the price of them are through the roof. I mean, it's been crazy. I went to look the other day and they went to $1,500 round trip. So, and unfortunately, I haven't booked my flight yet. So I'm looking at either, okay, you booked it a month ago. Good for you. That was smart. And I should have, but I haven't because the simple reason we're waiting for my son's passport. It's held up in immigration through the school. And I don't want to book the flight without him having his passport back. And he still hasn't gotten it back. So I'm really nervous about booking his flight and then not for some reason he doesn't get his passport, he can't fly. So that's why we haven't booked it. And it was like between 700 and 800 round trip back then. Now it's 1,500. Well, I'm glad to see you're already booked. That's good. That's good news. And Dennis says, not bad, friend. Hit 74 yesterday and then 40 today. Getting some spring fever. Good evening, Mark. Well, that's good news. See, everybody's getting, this is a good week for everybody. I mean, you can't beat that weather. 74 is beautiful. And even 40. I remember when it hit 40 back in the day. In March, when it hits 40 in March, you've already got your t-shirt on. I mean, I understand how it works. So, okay. Mark says mine was like 950 or so. Well, that's a bargain today. That really is. So that's good for you. The Iran conflict is really having an impact on fuel prices. Now, it's going to be, I don't want to get political here, but it's going to be temporary. It's not going to be long term. Once they straighten out the mess over there, the Strait of Hormuz and all that, and oil gets flowing on a regular basis, it'll go right back down to where it was. So I know so that's kind of why I'm waiting on my ticket. I mean, if it doesn't go down, I'm not booking it. I'll just wait. It's not like I need to go in May. I can hold off. I've actually got till the middle of June before I need to exit the country. So that's kind of my time frame is middle of June at the latest. If something doesn't happen by then yeah, I'll have to do something. So I got to leave the country within a year to get a stamp on my passport. So I'm not too concerned about it. Um, it'll work out. It usually does. I'm just not going to pay. You think about it, three of us at 1,500 a piece, $4,500. That's a lot of money compared to 2,100. So it's more than double. So I'm going to be patient, and we'll see. But I'm glad you got yours already booked, and that's awesome. So, and make sure you get over here, Mark. Get over here to Dumagetti, and I'll pick you up. You can stay with me. We've got plenty of room here. I got the bed and breakfast, so I can take you around, show you around. There's a few places that you'd probably like to see around here. There's a lot of things to do in my area, actually. I've been spoiled. I've seen them all at least twice, but I don't mind checking everything out again, obviously. So, do we have any new members in here, or new subscribers, I should say? And that's the other thing, um, to my members, thank you so much. I'm going to do a live with you guys, okay? I don't know when's good, what is good. This time of night for you is good or not, but I want to do a live for just you guys, my members. And then Mark says, I'll reach out separately. We can talk. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, let me know anytime. I know you got my email and all that. And speaking of email, I'm working on doing that email you sent me on the trivia. Working. My wife's going to help me. We're going to work on doing something with that. She used to do um, on her YouTube channel. She did bingo, and she said it went over really well. She did bingo with all her subscribers, and I guess they had a hell of a time. Um, so that's a possibility too. But I just want to take a night and have some fun where we can just get on and either do trivia or bingo or something like that. So we're looking at it now. Um, things are starting to calm down around here a little bit. So I'm in no big hurry on anything. Thing about the Philippines, you get dry throat. That's why I got my water. You'll learn that when you get over here. You're going to get a dry throat. It's really nonstop. It's always been an issue because of the humidity and stuff. But Mark says, I have run a few of these on my teams over the years, so let me know if I can be helpful. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, this is totally new to me. I just had a brainstorm one day that I thought it would be fun. It looks like something that'll get people engaged, get people interested, and just have fun. And that's what it's all about. It's, us all getting together and doing something different rather than me just run my mouth. We can do trivia or bingo or something, and then I'll give some prizes away. We'll figure it out. But speaking of, my week has been good. I did a video the other day about the good news. The insurance company finally got in touch with us and they said, yeah, you're all set now. We got the approval. And what it was is originally it was 221,000 peso, and they negotiated it with Ford. They do things differently here. I know in the U.S., the insurance company just takes the bid and they write the check. They don't negotiate as far as I know. Well, at least I've never experienced it. But over here, they went to Ford and they told Ford, okay, we're going to send somebody over to take a look and assess the damage. And they do their own uh, estimate on what it's going to cost and what it's going to need. So the difference was the insurance company came back and they said, well, we're approving for 181,000. So it was a difference of like 40,000 peso. And I'm thinking, I told my wife, does that mean we have to pay the difference? Do we pay the 40,000 on top of, everything else? And she asked that question. They said, no, 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 no. This is between us and Ford. They're going to settle for 181. There's no out of pocket expense except for the deductible. So I'm like, okay, good. So today, as of yesterday, it was a month. So it was 2 days shy of a month to get that approval. And that's something you're going to experience. I didn't know it would take that long to get insurance approved, but it did. So if you run into a situation where you got insurance and you're waiting on a claim, I guess if it goes over 100,000, that's when they get involved and they start negotiating. That's what I was told. So, and that's fine. I mean, I do miss the truck. We do. We're just lucky. My brother-in-law he lives in Australia, and he only uses his truck when he comes back to visit. And he told us, he says the thing has to be run anyway, so go ahead and run it. Um, and so we have been, but otherwise we would have had to rent a vehicle. So now, then Ford called us and they said, well, we need to order the parts. I said, well, okay, well, go ahead. And so we can't order the parts until you come down and pay the 8,000 deductible. I'm like, why are we paying it to them? Apparently, we have to pay it to Ford and not the insurance company. So we did. I told my wife, all right, let's go down, let's pay the deductible, so they can order the parts because I'm totally, that kind of surprised me. Um, Usually, what they do is the minute you have a claim, they already get the parts or they order them immediately. And I thought that's probably what was going to happen. But everything in the Philippines, guys, is all about money first. They don't do anything on your word or, they won't do that. If you say, can you order this now? I'll come back tomorrow and pay for it. No, it's not going to happen. And these are things I'm learning, okay? I know in the US, if I walked into a dealership or something and I needed tires that they don't have, and they said, well, we got to order them. And they would go ahead and order them, and you wouldn't have to pay for it until they come in. Not here. If I order something like that, they'd say, well, you need to pay us now, and then we'll order them. So that's something, if you move here, you've got to get used to that. Everything's about money up front. There's no credit per se. And so that's quite an adjustment. Okay, what's this? A Coin Society. Good day. Good day to you. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you coming on. It's nice to see somebody different. Are you one of my new subscribers? I know I picked up quite a few in my last video or 2 videos ago. Thanks for joining the live stream. We do this every Thursday about the same time. And so I really appreciate you coming on board. So Dennis says I should start calling you Butter Joe. I'm on a roll. Oh, I know. Don't quit my day job. Been a great week though. Good. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to hear that, Dennis. It's been good here. So yeah, we get that, finally get that taken care of. Um, and now we're just in the process of getting the parts. And once the parts come here, then they're telling me 10 days, 7 to 10 days to get the parts. Okay. And then you're probably talking another week or two before it gets in and gets fixed. So we're looking at 2 months, which is crazy. But, like I said, I'm in no position to do anything other than wait. Okay. A Coin Society, where are you from? I am from New Hampshire in the US of A, okay? I lived in a small town called Bethlehem. It's way up in northern New Hampshire, what they call Snow Kingdom. They had a really rough winter up there, apparently. Do I miss New Hampshire? I miss the beauty of New Hampshire. It's a beautiful state. There's a lot of nice people there. It's a great place to live if you're not living here. So I have no complaints about where I lived in the U.S. My complaints about over there is that everything costs too damn much, and so it's awesome. Where are you from, Coin? I'm assuming in the U.S. somewhere, but yeah, and we're going. Like I said, the plan is to go back in May if the airline tickets come down a bit. So that's hopefully going to be soon, but we'll see. Um, you're from Arizona. Okay. Hey, can you like my hat? I got my Arizona hat on. Arizona is a beautiful state, too. Um, I spent a lot of time in Arizona, actually. Okay. Mark says New Hampshire is in the fall is spectacular. Yeah, it is. It really is. Especially where I lived. I lived right in the middle of Mount Washington, right by the Appalachian Trail. You could actually hike from my house onto the Appalachian Trail. My wife worked 16 years at the Mount Washington Hotel, which is one of the most famous landmarks in New Hampshire. And yes, we were surrounded by three notches. All the 4,000 footer mountains are in New Hampshire. I mean, close to me. When I was a young boy, I hiked all of the 4,000 footers. I did a lot of hiking. I was an avid outdoorsman. And now that I'm old, I'm an avid outdoorsman, but I'm in the pool. I went from mountains to swimming pools. So, but yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to New Hampshire, I mean, people, you got to go, at least to visit, you know. Um, go visit, especially in the fall, like Mark said. Mark, what part of New Hampshire did you go to? I mean, I'm curious to know. You must have, if you experienced fall, you must have been up north. And a coincide says, that's why I asked. I saw your hat. Yeah, no, Arizona is gorgeous. I went to the Phoenix Open out there, Coin. I went out there to the Phoenix Open, and I really enjoyed that. If I was gonna live in a place in New Hampshire, it would probably be Arizona. It's beautiful out west. The weather's beautiful. Um, everything's just is spectacular. Really is. Well, my dog's barking, so I'm thinking my wife's home. If for some reason I lose you guys all of a sudden, it's probably because my wife, the power might be back, and she may switch me back over to live power instead of generator. So if I lose you, it's only going to be temporary. Okay, I'll be back. Just to give you a heads up. The coin says, "Yeah, I miss going for a visit in May." Well, come on over, Coin. Come on over, or take the trip back to Arizona if that's what you're talking about. All right, Mark says White Mountains. We rented a car and whooped through Vermont, New Hampshire, when in fall foliage. Okay, so yeah, you probably went up 91. Yeah, you picked the right time. Vermont's beautiful too. Unfortunately, Vermont's become really expensive. My son lives in Burlington, and he's like, Dad, it. We just had a 14% increase in property tax, and I'm like, what? And they're already paying way too much. The difference between Vermont and New Hampshire is New Hampshire is a lot more affordable than Vermont is, but they're both beautiful states. They really are. Well, good morning, Shelley. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you on. I hope things are going well for you out there. I appreciate you being on. I really do. It's good to see you. And there's Don, my buddy Don. Good morning, Joey says. Good morning, Don. It's nice to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. I saw your cookies that you made on your Facebook post, and I almost called you up. Said I'm in my truck and I'm heading your way. They looked really good. But yeah, Dawn, I'll message you when we're done here. I was hoping to get together maybe this weekend, have you and your wife and your child come over and visit us. We'll do a barbecue or something outside at the pool. So, but I'll message you and see what your schedule is and see what you're up to. But we don't, doesn't look like we have a lot going on this weekend. I do have some things I'm going to talk about that my brother-in-law is doing that's really cool. And I'm going to probably be doing some videos on it. So, but we'll talk about that in a few. Yeah, let's see. Coin says, Shell, good morning. Okay, Dawn says, okay, it sounds great. All right, awesome. Hope you're having a good week, Dawn. I know it's been pretty good here. I was just talking about my good news with the truck. The other good news is it was my health update. I got the EKG results and they were good. Everything was normal. I didn't have anything that looked like it needed attention. Um, my heart valve that I had repaired looks good. It's functioning normal. All my signs were normal. All my blood work, everything was really good. So I'm not sure. I think what happened that day where I went to the hospital was I just had a spike in blood pressure for whatever reason. I mean, it was 205 over 112. That's, you're in stroke territory, and they don't know why. Um, so, I'm monitoring my blood every day, 3 times a day. I'm taking it, and it's been normal or below. A few times it was actually too low, and I didn't take my medicine because of it. So, the health wise, everything looks really good, and I feel really good. I've been getting out, doing a lot, so my energy level is good until around 6 o'clock at night, and I crash. But that's old age, is what that is. And Shelley says, "Hi everyone. I was thrilled with your help. Yeah, thank you. It was a lot off my mind, Shelley. I mean, if nothing else, it's most of the time it's in your head, and it was in my head. I've been through a lot when it came to my surgery, my open heart surgery. So, my mind started to go back to that and all the things that went on. And that came up so quick that it was unexpected. And this was the same thing. So I started thinking the worst. I'm like, oh no. Oh, what am I going to do? We're going to have to move back to America. My wife's going to have to go back and get her job back so she can get insurance and so I can be taken care of. All of this was going through my mind. And you know what? It wasn't helping me as far as my blood pressure goes. So I had to try to stop and just block it out of my mind. So we took the test, and then when the test results all came back, and they said, no, everything looks really good. You're fine. No heart attacks, no nothing there. So that was like a huge relief. It I hate to say it, but it sucks getting old. These are things that when you hit 60 and up, you start thinking about all these things. Unfortunately, it becomes part of your life. Uh, there's times in our life where we all think we're invincible, but we're not. And that's why I'm trying to focus. I want to do a lot of videos on that type of information, like I did on the STDs. Now, I didn't expect that to blow up the way it did. But you know what it told me? It told me that there's an audience out there that wants that information. That's a touchy subject. That's a subject that, it's not comfortable talking about. But you know what, guys? It's reality. You can't just recklessly run around and it, you're going to pay the price. And I'm trying to help out with that as far as informing you guys. I got another video coming up. Probably do it tomorrow. And this one's, I think, is in the same lines as the other one, but on a different topic. So stay tuned for that. I'm doing my research right now. I'm putting things together, but it's going to help you. It's going to enlighten you. So when you do come here, you know what to look out for, and that's the goal of my channel. I'm trying to share my experience. Now, no, I don't have STDs. I had a couple people comment on my video. Oh, it means you must have it. I said, no, I don't have it. I'm very loyal to my wife. I'm not out there running around doing things I shouldn't be doing. But there's a lot of people when they come here for the first time, all they want to do is grab the first woman and get their hands on and go play around and have fun. Well, that's fine and dandy, but there's ways of doing it, and you have to be careful. So Mark says, any thoughts about adding health insurance? Yeah, I've been looking into it, Mark. I'm researching it now, actually, as we speak. Phil Health is one of the options. I just have to see what type of coverage it is. It as far as like major medical. And Mark, I am doing what you suggested before in the past about the cost of major medical. I'm working on that too. I want to give everybody an update, like what would it cost you to have open heart surgery in the Philippines, in case something does happen. Or what if you get cancer? These type of things. I do want to do a video on that to give people somewhat of an idea. The cost of a major health concern in the Philippines versus the U.S. So that's coming up. I get a lot of things that I've written down that I think will be helpful to everybody. Okay. Shelley says this is very common when people have had scary health issues in the past. Hopefully you can feel more comfortable and not so scared. Last, getting health related stuff is inevitable. Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. And when I hit the fourth quarter of my life, which in my opinion, 60 years and up, that's when these things become a focal point. I actually had my open heart surgery when I was 59. I was 2 months shy of my 60th birthday, so it was close enough that I say 60. But my wife was petrified at that moment in time. She was thinking, I may not see my 60th birthday. I may not see this home that we now live in here in the Philippines, because we bought this home in June of 2023. And then the plan was, June of 2024, we're going to move over here. We ended up, August, which is what we did. So that was the whole plan. And, here I am in bed after major open heart surgery, wondering if I'm even going to make it over here. But, once I was in recovery and rehab through the surgery, I was very optimistic. I had something to strive for. My goal was to get better and get over here. That's what kept me going. And a lot of times, guys, when you're really down and out and you got bad things going on in your life, try to find something that will enable you to move on, something to hope for. With me, it was moving here to the Philippines and having my wife be with her family. That was my goal. So I focused all my energies on rehab and getting better. And the doctor was amazed. He was like, I can't believe your recovery. It's amazing. I've had hundreds and hundreds of open heart surgeon clients, and nobody's recovered as quick as you. And I told him, I said, well, I made a challenge to myself. I was bound and determined to take this thing and hit it head on. And that's always the way I've been. I'm not one to back down. If the challenge is too big, it's not. It's not too big, guys. Tackle it head on. If it's moving here to the Philippines, tackle what it is that's holding you back. If it's money, go out, get a second job like I did at the time to get extra money to get here, to buy this house. There's always an answer. You just have to go find it. So, I mean, I'm not here to give you a sermon, but I'm just telling you my thoughts on what motivated me and what got me through that time in my life. And then, this recent scare with what I just went through was kind of on the same issue. I was like looking at how upset my wife was, and God, that woman, she's unbelievable. You don't know how lucky I am. And I looked at her and I'm like, I've got to make sure I'm okay. I don't want to put her through anymore. She's been through a lot, you know, with me as far as my health scale went. So she gets really paranoid very easily, and she still does even now. She'll always, "How you feeling? Are you okay? What's going on?" And I'm fine, but that's how she is. I got one of the good ones. I really did. So, and I'm very lucky. 22 years of marriage would be 23 years in November, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as my good news goes. I got some things. My brother-in-law, he's actually building a house uh, up near my wife's sister, and he's yesterday they broke ground, and I went up and to see how it was going, and it's going to be a pretty good size house actually. It's 36 by 30 is the size of it. So I think I don't know what you guys think, but I'm thinking about doing videos of the house and the progress on building it. I don't know if that's something you guys are interested in seeing or not. I wanted to run it by you guys that are on. I think it would be kind of cool to take videos and follow the progress of them building the house. When I went up yesterday. I'm standing back and I'm just amazed that there was four guys and they're digging these trenches by hand with a shovel, and that's totally put me at awe. Here it is, like 90 degrees out, and they're out there in the sun digging these 3 foot deep trenches, 36 by 30 all the way around, and they're doing it by shovel. And I was like, I can't. You would never get anybody in America to do this kind of work. Okay, not there's no way. Okay, and not only that, but the laborer here gets 500 peso a day. Okay, the foreman gets 700 peso a day. So think about it. $500, 500 peso a day is about $8. 700 is between 11 and $12 a day to go out there, spend all day long shoveling a 3 foot deep trench all the way around the house, for the brick and all that. So it's amazing to me. So I think I'm thinking about doing videos to show you the work ethic and what happens here. So you can kind of see the difference between here in the US. Now granted the price is a lot different, but you're not paying a lot in labor, which is crazy. So I know when we did our little kitchen bar area out by the pool, I think I paid them 700 um, a piece instead of 500, which is still really reasonable. You're talking 11, $12 a day um, for three guys, so it was well worth it to me. I'd rather give them a little extra money, and we fed them. We gave them lunch every day, and then at the end of the week, I would buy some beer for the guys. They really appreciated it. We took care of them, and what I like to do here. I like to take care of the people because they put the effort in and they don't complain at all. Trust me, they don't complain. These guys working on this house are just their attitude is we're happy to be working. Unfortunately, a lot of the help over here is not college educated. So if you don't have a college degree here, you end up doing labor work like that. That's kind of all you have left. Um, a lot of times, when you go to these establishments, you'll see like a restaurant, for instance. Most of the people, all the people that work there, are pretty much have a college education. If you don't have a college education in the Philippines, there's a good chance you're not getting hired. Okay, it's very, very important over here. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I really don't know. I don't know. What's your opinion on that? I mean, it depends on the line of work as far as I'm concerned. But for somebody to go work in a restaurant, running um, the cash register or something, I don't think you need a college education. They just need to be trained. Um, that's kind of what it comes down to. Like in the U.S., they have trade schools. They don't really have trade schools here. Like if I over here, I want to be an electrician. There's no trade school saying that okay, we're hiring you to be an electrician. But it's different. You don't to work here. You're not making any money. You're just not gonna. A coin says that's terrible. Yeah, it is. That's the reality of a third world country. Uh, that's why you everybody wants to go to America to work because they know they're going to get paid and they're going to get paid well. Um, it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of the Philippines. And let me tell you guys, it's a lot better now than it used to be. When I first came here in 2001, I mean, there was no businesses around the area like there is now. Things have grown a lot in Dumagetti. Like I've covered it in the past. So the opportunities are better now than they ever have been. But unfortunately, they're just not going to pay. They're just not. Coin says pathetic that young kids can't work either. 15 to 18, yeah, sucks. Yeah, it does. I know I worked when I was like, my first job ever was obviously a paper route. And then I worked on a farm and I was like 12 years old. And then when I was old enough to work, I think when I was 15, you had that, when you were 15, you could work with a working permit. And then I did. I worked at a paint store actually. And then I went on and worked in a grocery store and made that a career for about 10, 15 years. I made a career out of working in the grocery industry. I got myself promoted all the way up to manager, and I was successful, but I started at the bottom. In America, that's an opportunity that's available. It's not available per se here. Now, I'm not saying people don't get promoted because they do, but it's not like if I decide to go to work at Robinson Supermarket and I'm a young kid, for me to have the ambitions to be the store manager, it's something that could take forever and it may never happen. Okay. It's totally different. At least in America, when it comes to that, you have a formula that you can work and work yourself up if you do a good job, your performance is really good. And sometimes it means knowing the right people. I hate to say that, but unfortunately that's very true in America. If you know the right people, you can move on and get the job that you've always dreamed of getting. Is it right? No, but that does not happen over here. The coin says, unless it's a family owned business. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yesterday, actually, we went and bought materials. I helped. We brought the truck down to help my sister-in-law get materials for the house build. And this place called, what's it called, Prime. That's where we bought all our materials to build our outdoor kitchen bar. And they are excellent people. The owner also owns a bike shop, motorcycle shop right beside this hardware construction business. And they're good people. They really are good people. The owner's son is being groomed to take it over right now. He was actually there, and he knows we do business there. We've spent a lot of money there. He saw us, and we weren't spending the money, but my sister-in-law was for my brother-in-law, and he gave us a 3% discount. Which was awesome. But they that does happen. Um, they will, if you're loyal to their business, they will take care of you. The customer service in that place was absolutely phenomenal. We went in around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and this morning they're delivering two trucks. Actually, they're delivering two truckloads of stuff, building materials for the job. But it's the owner's son, so yeah, it's part of the family-owned business, and he's being groomed to take over the business empire. There are a lot of successful people in the Philippines. Don't get me wrong. It's just a different. It's a small knit community. It's family members or very close friends that are involved. The average person on the street doesn't always get the opportunity that somebody in the family or close family ties does. It's different. It really is. And so a lot of Filipinos, they get their education because they want to go to America. There's a lot of foreign seas workers over here, actually. They go to Saudi Arabia, they go, oh, UAE, they go to America, they go to Canada. There's my wife, when she worked at Omni at Mount Washington, they had 80, at one point, 80 Filipinos working there. Okay. So they hire them because their work ethic is second to none. So when they say, well, they're hiring foreigners over Americans, well, in a lot of cases, it's true because of the work ethic. There's a lot of jobs Americans won't do, and it's very true, unfortunately. And that has to change. It really does. Rather than paying them to sit home and play on the computer or whatever it is they do, that needs to go away. It really does. So yeah, I mean, so in my case, growing up, I went through all the hoops. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have the family that had a lot of money, so I worked my way for everything I've always had, and that's the way it should be. It should be that way. I don't regret anything. So, does anybody else have a story they want to share on their career and how they got there? Um, to me, it's an interesting topic. Um, because a lot of times adversity will deter people from pursuing their dream. Um, I know a lot of friends of mine, the first negative thing that comes along, they go into a shell and then they don't come out of it. And it's unfortunate. It really is because you have control of whatever you want to do. But if you're not going to look at ways to get out of that shell, then you're going to be stuck. And I have a lot of, I mean, one of my best friends to this day, he's been in that shell his whole life, and he envies me. He's like, well, how did you be so? How did things work out so for you and this and that, not me? And I'm like, because you have to determine what it is you want. You can't. Nothing's coming to you without effort. If you don't put the effort in, you're not going to be rewarded. And some days it's not comfortable, trust me. I mean, I had many a days where it's like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. But then I just, every day you wake up, new day, let's go. Let's keep moving forward. And you guys can all be the same way, whether it's moving in the Philippines or your career. Just keep moving forward. So I've been more than happy, more than happy with the progress over here. At first, when I came here, I kind of knew what to expect, but until you live here every day, you're kind of like, well, I don't know, we'll see. Am I going to adjust to the heat, the people, the conditions? And I really have. And but you got to have that mindset. And I've also met some people that are completely the opposite as far as that goes. They don't accept the Philippines. They badmouth it, and then they say, "Yeah, I got to get out of here." I get a lot of those comments on my YouTube. People saying that you're painting a shiny picture of everything's perfect all the time, and I do not do that. I brought up things that have not been good. Okay, I try to do that. Oh, Dennis says, Joe, do you ever speak with AI? No, I don't. I can't believe how much it's taken. I don't. Dennis, my opinion is AI is the worst possible thing that's happening in the world right now. AI is going to destroy people and jobs, like you said. It's a bad thing. I don't use AI. I will sometimes I will look things up when I do research. But then I've also found that a lot of AI is also being biased. I will research two or three different platforms to see, and there's a difference. There really is. It's already agenda driven, depending on what they want you to know, and that's the big danger of AI. I don't know what you can trust, what you can't trust, what's real, what's not real. AI is a major problem. And you know what? Unfortunately, it's not going away. It's going to get worse, and it's here. When you have guys like Elon Musk, with richest man in the world, dumping all the money he's big investments he's got into it, it's not going anywhere. Guys like him are they don't not succeed. Okay, he knows it's the future, so he's going right after it. And nothing against Elon Musk, but he understands what's going on as far as this is going to be the future. And I told my son that, my youngest son, I said, you may want to look into AI. Um, it looks like that's going to be the future and the career for a lot of people nowadays. I hate to say it, but it is the future. And then Dennis says it's still in its infancy. I hate to admit it. I use quite a bit in the legal field. Definitely right on the bias, garbage in, garbage. Yeah, and that's what scares me about AI is the garbage in, garbage out, agenda driven. Human beings are producing all this stuff. Okay, it's not a magical robot that just comes up with these opinions. So you're gonna have people that are agenda driven out there forming what AI will inform you of. Okay, if their agenda is racism in such and such a place, okay, that's what's going to come out of AI. All right. Or whatever. I'm just throwing that as an example. Or, like you said, in the legal field, you got to be very careful. Um, it's the days of unbiased research are pretty much over. I don't care, even watching YouTube. The good thing about YouTube, though, is I can select who I want to watch. And if it's something I support, then I go ahead and watch it. If it's, I don't watch the news. I haven't watched regular news on TV in a year and a half since I've been here, for the simple reason that it's all gender driven. And I watch is YouTube. If I want news, I watch guys that I support. And there's a lot of guys I watch that have more viewers, YouTube viewers, on a live stream than mainstream media has. And it's really amazing to me. That just shows you that mainstream media is pretty much a thing of the past. So, and it's going to get worse as far as that goes. They try to justify themselves, and it's never good because everything's agenda driven, no matter who you watch. Uh, and Dennis says it's really taken over YouTube. I see so many videos. Yeah, no, and you know what? I think YouTube's going to crack down on it. Um, it's funny you say that because I watched a guy, a YouTuber, that is saying that a lot of people are getting demonetized because of AI generated videos. They want people out here like myself that will sit down and actually interact with people. So yeah, I'm going to explore that more. But yeah, no, there's a lot of big channels getting demonetized because they're using all AI. And YouTube is starting to say, you know what, we need to put an end to this. So I think YouTube is looking at it, and I think they're really getting serious about it. But we'll know. Which I hope that's the case because then that gives guys like me hope. I can't compete with AI. I can't do it as far as knowledge and all that. But I want to be real. I'm out here to be a real face, talking to real people like yourselves. And he says it seems obvious to me, but can't believe how hits it. Yeah, are people? I don't know if they're easily fooled. They probably know it's AI, but people want the type of information that they're looking for. And if it's AI generated, they're going to watch it. If I go to watch a video and they're very good at hooking you on the title, it's the old hook, the thumbnail hook, they're very good at that. And that's what gets you in that video. I don't know how many times I've watched a video or attempted to watch a video, and within 10 seconds of clicking on it, I knew right off it was AI generated and I clicked right off. But there's a lot of people, they don't understand it. They think, oh, this is really cool. This is great. And that's fine if that's what they want. But I want somebody that's actually out there doing the work, um, reporting on things like what I've been doing. That's what I want. I look for guys like that, or and ladies. I have quite a few ladies that I like to follow too. So I want the real life story. Um, I won't. I haven't used AI for anything. I really haven't, and I refuse to do it. I mean, I could do. I for the hell of it, I clicked on an AI generated thumbnail, and it was terrible. I was like, let me see what this looks like, and I clicked on it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I wouldn't. There's no creativity. It's just whatever that computer decides. They take your title and they throw it on this picture, and it looks fake and it doesn't look real at all. But there's a market for it out there. But let's see. We'll see what YouTube does. Hopefully, they keep cracking down on it. But I guess there was one big YouTuber. He was taking down like $30,000 a month. Okay, and that's big money. Big money. 30 grand a month, and he got demonetized because he was doing faceless AI videos. He wasn't doing anything. And YouTube said, you know what? No, we're done with that. And according to this guy reporting on it, he said there's been a lot of them. He said, so be very careful with your videos out there if you're monetized, because if you're using AI, it could get demonetized. So I said, well, good. Make them get out there and actually do something. Okay. Dennis says, glad you're keeping it real, friend. Imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years. I'm afraid. Yeah, no, you're right. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it gets better. We have to keep it real. I'm old school. So quite often I get comments about why he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's from the old times. It's he needs to get catch up with the times. If these are the times, I don't want to catch up. That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm happy with my life and the way things are, and so for me to say I need AI to do my videos, no. I mean, but unfortunately, it's the young crowd. It's that young crowd, 15 to 34-year olds. Those are the ones, that's the audience out there. They're not watching me, okay? And I understand why. They don't want to hear some old guy like me talking about the Philippines and my real life. They don't want to. They want to talk about things that are not reality. It's got to be sensationalized. It has to be drama. Oh, what can we do to get the most views, the most clicks, and they'll do whatever it takes to do it. Unfortunately, as we've seen with Pro Life Traveler, I don't know if anybody's heard anything about him. I haven't heard a thing. I don't know if he's still in the Philippines, if he's back and where he came from. Haven't heard a word about him, which is kind of weird actually. But he's a guy that built his channel on just outlandish stuff, okay? But that's what people watch. Unfortunately, that's what they watch. And I just can't do it off the backs of others. I really can't. I don't want to do it off the backs of others. Dennis says the same young crowd that doesn't realize anything about. Yeah, no, you're right about that. It's awful to see what goes on. I I know I mentioned it before, but nothing irritates me more than going into a restaurant and everybody's on their phone. They always on the phone. You're right. They don't make eye contact. Um, and they're supporting me in retirement. Yikes. Yeah. Well, what's the future of the world going to look like in 10 years? Like you said, it's kind of scary. It really is. I mean, I if what would we do without the cell phone? You ask yourself that question. And guys, it's the same in the Philippines. It's no different here. When I came back in 2001, there was no cell phone. They didn't have cell phones. They weren't running around on the cell phone. They were out there working. They were playing games, interacting with people. That's how it was. It's not like that today here either. You go down, I don't care where you are in the Philippines, everybody's on a phone. Everybody has a phone. So, and it really is awful to see. It's not good. It really isn't good actually. Because a lot of when you see suicide rates and all of that, it's a lot of it's from all the crap that they're getting online. Um, they believe stuff. People go on in and harass them. Oh, you're ugly. You don't have a chance in life. They'll make all these comments, and then next thing you know, the people can't take it because they're for whatever reason they're weak and they end up taking their you know unaliving themselves, which is unfortunate. But it's a lot of it. It's all information they're getting online. It's all cell phone stuff. So, oh, there's my wife. Hi, hon. Yeah, my wife is back. So I'm glad to see you get back. Hopefully the power's back. I don't know. I haven't checked on, but we're just hanging out here. But yeah. Anyway, it's totally different here too. Okay, Shelley says it's kind of creepy to me that Philippine girls and women making all the suggestive videos and TikToks and stuff. I cringe. Yeah, no. And Shelley, I hate to say it, but they're doing it because of the money. Um, they're doing it for the clicks. They're doing it to make money, and that's just a normal circumstance here in the Philippines now, and it never used to be that way. It's gotten a lot worse, and I mean, I'd simply go down to the boulevard in Dumaguete and take a walk, and you see it everywhere. Everybody's doing a video, everybody's on their phone, they're, doing things that probably shouldn't be done, but it's for the clicks, it's for you viewers out there. And I don't like, um, oh, my wife says, "Hon," my wife says, "Hon, say your goodbye. I have to get," okay, she's got to shut the generator down. Yeah, it's been running for almost 3 hours now. So, okay, I understand. I don't know. Probably, I don't know if the electricity is back or not. So, I guess I will get off and we'll go see if the electric's back or not. But I want to thank you guys for being on. It's been cool as usual. We'll do the same thing next week, and we'll go ahead and hopefully we won't have an issue with power. But you never know, we're in the Philippines. So I hope y'all. Shelly says, "Okay, have a good night. Have you too, Shelly. I appreciate you being on again. It's good to see you again, and you also have a great week." And I'll have a video probably tomorrow night, and for you members, I'm looking at tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. As long as I don't have anything going on, to do a members live stream. So kind of plan on that. If you're on here, Dennis, Mark, okay, and I'll send a notification out. But I'll plan on doing that, the members only, tomorrow morning at 9, and hopefully we don't have a power issue. So with that being said, before I lose you, I'm gonna say goodbye, and thanks for coming on. Really appreciate your support. Um, Feel free to donate. Feel free to be a member. Everything helps. Okay, I really appreciate your support. And with that being said, I'm going to let you go. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. Have a good night, too. Bye bye now.